Good morning. It's about a week after I thought I would have this video up and be able to talk to you about this. I apologize for that. It has been the craziest start to any semester I can remember in my life, and it's the university switching systems, and it turns out that I'm teaching a co-enrolled class for Friends University because their genetics professor is on sabbatical, and that opened up another can of worms and issues that had to be dealt with, and I apologize for that. But this is going to be, I think, an interesting course. It's a really good course, and I say that, uh, well, last week we had our lab coat ceremony, and our keynote speaker was Lucy Mwanga. Sorry about that, Lucy. And she took this class last year. She's a first year medical student at Kansas College of Osteopathic Medicine now. And when we talked, she said, Dr. Goad, I owe you a big one. And I was like, okay. And it was because of this class. When she took the class, I had them writing a paper every 2 weeks. And I could do that because there weren't as many in that cohort. So it was manageable on my end. Um, and she talked about how she's in a class now where they're reading primary literature and having to discuss it and do all those really kind of cool things. And that this class had really made a difference, and it made it so much easier for her, and she would be so much farther behind had she not taken this class. Excuse me, I'm gonna look at something on my glasses. It's just bug. Oh, it's condensation on my glasses. I'm blind in my right eye, so the only reason I realize there's any condensation on my glasses is because I'm looking at myself on the computer. I wouldn't normally, I'd walked around with that big old splotch on my glasses. So anyhow, this course was an extremely valuable course for her. The way I have this course designed is you will be writing papers every 3 weeks. I've reduced the papers somewhat. This first paper uh, is kind of your opening gambit, shall we say. I will get some parameters out, hopefully by the end of the day. If nothing else, by the end of the week, I will have them posted to Canvas. You will also notice that I'm posting the recordings of my regular CMB lectures. And you'll see that I have put topics up for this course, weekly topics that somewhat mirror what I'm doing in my regular CMB course. The difference is they're learning stuff from the textbook with some smidgen of primary literature thrown in there to keep things current. You, on the other hand, are going to use the textbook as a reference. This field is changing so quickly. Last week, I searched for type 2 diabetes in PubMed. And since the beginning of this year, and it is January 28th, it was probably back 2 or 3 days ago. Uh, at that point, there were 1,600 papers just on type 2 diabetes since the beginning of the year. This field, we're really ignorant in biology, to be truthful. We're learning new things day in and day out. Models change. Uh, the consensus is even fairly fluid in some parts of biology. So, as graduate students, your job is to be out on the forefront, where that frontier is, where the uncertainty is at its greatest, where you have to actually analyze the data yourself and look at the arguments yourself and determine if you buy the model that they're pitching or not. And if so, why? And if not, why? So in this course, you'll be doing, I like to call them mini reviews. A review article is a secondary literature. It's well researched, and you talk about, well, let's say I was going to talk about type 2 diabetes. Well, I would look in the literature for recent papers on type 2 diabetes. That's pretty broad. I'd probably narrow it down to some aspect of type 2 diabetes. And then I would read all of those papers and synthesize what the current state of thought is. I might, and I would find papers that had data that supported the current model, what our most current thinking on modeling type 2 diabetes or some aspect of it, uh, maybe antidiarrheal hormone, diuretic hormone. Yeah, not diarrheal. I'm still working on my coffee this morning, so give me a break there. I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly because I'm about to record another CMB lecture. But I want to say this about your first paper, and I will get more information up for you. You need to cite. When you need to have in-text citations. Some sentences may have multiple citations. Don't wait till the end of the paragraph to cite. This is an English class. In science, whenever you state a fact, you need to have a citation. Whenever you read a paper and you are synthesizing, collapsing down what that paper says, you are paraphrasing. And paraphrasing isn't sticking it into a blender and shaking it up and spitting it back out. It's actually interpreting it, synthesizing it, and explaining in your own terms. Whenever you do that, you need to cite that source on that sentence. I recommend you write your papers, not like trying to have some big formal thing. Use formal language to the extent that imagine you are in here explaining what you've read to me. You're writing to me. Write like that. Your paper should be active voice. Passive voice is passé, shall we say. In current scientific writing, we want to see active voice. You need to cite. So what I'll do when I get the first papers back, I'm not going to put a lot of stricture on this first paper. I will take and review the papers with a video review. I have a graphics monitor that I can write on, so I will record as I am breezing through your papers, and I will make my comments. Now, am I going to read every word in the paper and edit the entire paper? No, especially not at first. My goal is, from my experience, I can tell you your first papers are not going to be that good, and that's okay. What I want to see you do in this course is I want to see your skills at interpreting primary literature, at communicating primary literature, at writing in a formal sense in a scientific vein. I want to see those skills increase, and I want to see things improve. My goal last year, it was really fantastic because what I could do is I could compare papers that students wrote at the beginning of the semester and papers that they wrote at the end of the semester, and the difference was phenomenal. And it was a huge help to the students. As graduate students, the book is out of here. That was obsolete before it was printed. Now you're going to be working in primary literature, trying to understand at the very forefront of what's going on. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge. It's not easy. Um, I will have forums where you can discuss with each other, what's frustrating, and that's part of it. You can complain how hard it is to read primary literature, how hard it is to interpret this stuff, how hard it is to find things. That's part of this learning process. And so I encourage you to use the various forums. Now, I've started this Teams channel so that I could do this without having to have multiple links to everybody. However, I did record this. I am recording this, and I will post this on Canvas as well to be seen. Uh, that's it for my really quick intro to the course right now. I'll come back and record some more stuff in the future, maybe even tonight if I'm lucky. But welcome to the course. Welcome to a challenge. Welcome to some work. This is a 5-hour course. And so, yes, it's going to take a lot of work. Don't wait till the night before the paper's due to start writing the paper. This is not going to work in this course. And I'm expecting a much higher level uh, uh, of interpretation of synthesis from you. Don't sweat the first papers. I am not going to give you grades on the first papers, may not give you a grade on any paper. I am going to look at how you progress and how you apply my advice or ignore my advice at your peril. So, deep breath. It's going to be a great semester. And hopefully, all the craziness, well, most of the craziness of this semester is hopefully behind us, and we can have a much better rhythm going into the following weeks as we go on. All right. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Goodbye.